Hi everyone, my name is Alysha and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I've got a really exciting tutorial for you guys that comes in 3 parts. Today we are making our very own crochet version of the SKIMS like fluffy set. I'm so excited. Once I saw like Kim and Kylie post it, like it looks so soft, I knew that it would be like so great. But they're expensive and I thought, hey, I know what yarn is pretty similar to that, so let's try to make it for ourselves. So this video comes in 3 parts: the robe, the top, and the pants. So make sure to go watch those. Today, the video is for the top, and we're gonna get into it. The only stitches that you really need to know are a half double crochet, a single crochet, and like a slip stitch. But other than that, it's really simple because we're just doing simple shapes as we walk through it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So this is the top that we're making. I made a bit of a tester first just so I could figure out the size and everything that I want. And this is what I'm going to use to help follow along with the sizes, because it isn't as straightforward as a lot of my designs are. So just try to follow along as best that you can. And if you need to, just scroll back and go over it. So we're going to start on this end. We're going up and down as we go down the top all the way to the end. So I have a slip knot and I put it on my hook, and I'm going to chain 12. If you want your shirt to be longer in length, to cover more, make your chain longer now. I like my clothes rather cropped, so this is what I like to do. But at the end, I noticed on some of the SKIMS things, there's also an extra bar added to the bottom here. So that's something that you can look at to add on as well. So now that we have our chain of 12, we are just going to find 2 chains from the hook and do half double crochets down the row all the way to the end. Now at the end, we're going to chain 2 and flip our work. So to make this really simple, at whatever end your little tail is on, that's where we're going to do our increases and decreases to make like the points of the tops and like the valleys or like the dips in it. So starting here, since we want it to go up more and cover more, we are going to make an increase in our first stitch. So I'm putting 1 half double crochet in the first stitch, and then a second one in that very same hole. And then I'm just continuing down the row with a regular half double crochet. Now that we're at the end of the row, I'm going to chain 2, flip our work, and then do another row of just regular half double crochet. Because there's no tail here at the end, we aren't going to do any variation. So now that we're at the end of this row, there's a tail here, so now I want you to put an increase in the last stitch here. So we do a half double crochet, and then in that very same hole we're putting another half double crochet. Chain 2, flip your work, and there's a tail here, so we are going to do another increase. So half double crochet and another half double crochet in the same hole, and then just regular half double crochets as you go down the row, just like normal. Chain 2, flip your work. No variations on this end. And I'm just doing regular half double crochets as I go up the side here. And we're on the end with the tail, so now we're going to put an increase in our very last hole. And second half double crochet. That was our increase. So now laying it here, I've done a couple of rows, and I'm just going to keep on increasing for every single row just on this side. So for half of your rows it'll be at the start of your row, and the other half it'll be at the end of your row. But I'm just going to keep going until I have the point that I want. So for me that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9-ish rows. But it's up to you on how tall you want your top to go, and like how big of a like peak and valley that you want. So I've done all the rows that I need to do and gotten to the peak that I want it to be at. So now we're gonna do the exact opposite thing. So everywhere where you were increasing, now I want you to make a decrease. So we are going to insert our hook with the yarn over already, pull one through, then yarn over again, insert our hook into the next stitch, pull one through, and now pull through all 5 stitches, and then go down the row just like normal. I'm just gonna skip ahead to the end of the row because I'm just doing plain half double crochets now. So at the end of the row, we're chaining 2, flipping our work, and then we're just doing regular half double crochets up this side as well. But then when we get to the end of this row, it will be a side with the tail on it. So we are going to make a decrease in our last stitch. So now we're to the end where we only have 2 stitches left, so we are going to yarn over, insert our hook, pull one through, yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, pull one through, and pull through all 5. Chain 2, flip your work. We're still on a side with the little tail, so I'm going to decrease again. So yarn over, insert into the first stitch, pull one through, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, pull one through, pull through all 5, and then just regular half double crochets down the row. So just like you were doing for the increases, you do it for the decreases on every row, but it's alternating at what point you do it at. So we're going to do that for a couple of rows. Let me just count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish. This depends on how low you want your scoop neck to scoop, but I'm just going to continue with those decrease rows. So now that you have all of the decreases that you want done, right here, you are just going to do one single row of half double crochets with no increase, decrease, just literally just plain. Super simple. So just plain all the way up. And we're in the end here, so we don't need to do anything special because this is just a plain row. And now, check it out. So now you are just going to do the opposite of what you just did. So we are going to increase on every row on this side only for 7 rows or so, whatever you do, until you get to the point. And then you're going to decrease for 9 rows or so until you get back down to the base that you started with. So for me, it was 12 chains, so 10 stitches, I believe. And yeah, I'll meet you when we get back down to here. So we are increasing at the start of every other row and at the end of every other row. Those ones don't overlap till we get to the point. And then we are going to decrease at the start of every other row and decrease at the end of every other row. Just what we just did, but flipped. If you ever think that you're going off track, just fold your work in half, make sure that everything lines up, and you can always just pull some apart if you mess up. So once you have your perfectly symmetrical front piece, and you're back down to your original row of stitches on the other side, just make a whole bunch of rows of regular half double crochet with no increases or decreases until you have enough that your top is big enough to wrap around you. Remember, you have to get in and out of it somehow, so you might need to err on the side of caution, making it a little bit bigger so that you can either get it over your shoulders or pull it over your waist. But usually people's butts are a little too big to go over their waist, so keep in mind that you do need to leave some room to get it on. And now we are going to sew the top up together. So I folded it in half and make sure that everything is lined up nicely. And I just did a chain 2 at the end. And now I'm going to insert my hook in the front piece as well as the back piece and make a single crochet. You want to make sure that everything is lined up all the way across, so we are inserting in the front piece and the back piece and doing a single crochet. Front piece and the back piece, single crochet. Front and the back, single crochet. There should be defined stitches for you to follow along with, and just make sure that they're lined up so you don't have a wonky seam going on. And then that last stitch, we're going to make a chain one, pull up a bit, snip, and tie off. Now we have the base for our top done. Super cute. And now we're just going to add straps. So a good thing for you to do is to measure over your shoulder and see how long you need the strap to be. I hate when my straps are too long. So for the strap, you're going to make a slip knot, put it on your hook, and then find the top point of like the triangles, you know? Insert your hook and make a slip stitch. So we're grabbing that piece of yarn and pulling it straight through. And now for me, I want a chain of 40. 1, 2, 3. And now you are going to flip over your work and try to go straight down from that strap. So when it's folded perfectly in half, it'll just be straight down from there. Insert your hook, make a slip stitch, chain one, pull up a little, snip, and tie off. And you've got your strap on. Sorry. If you want to hide your little tail but don't want to snip it too close that it will come apart, you can just weave that tail in and out of a couple of stitches. Because this fabric, or because this yarn is so fluffy, like you really won't even notice if there's like a piece of yarn out of place. But yeah, so I've just weaved it through a couple of times and now I can snip close to the inside. And I'm going to do that for this one on the front as well because you don't want dangling strings everywhere. I'm so bad about this. I always have dangling strings. But just weave it a couple of times. You can also do this with your hook. And snip. And check it out. So cute. Do the exact same thing on the other side and then you're done your top. Oh, and I forgot to say, so since you have this seam where you did the single crochet to make the loop, flip that inside out so that's hidden on the inside and you don't see it when you're wearing it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. If you make anything that I've shown you in this video, I would love to see it. Make sure to check me out on Instagram or TikTok. I love seeing your comments, your DMs, your messages, everything. Like, it means a lot to me, so thank you so much. All right, bye.